I think it's also important to remember that a previous government in our history, Benazir Bhutto's second government, when it was ousted from office, the Supreme Court also, while validating its ouster, also observed that the Bhutto government had conducted wiretapping and it had violated the privacy of its opponents. If you look at the scheme and structure of the Official Secret Act, it has two important or two distinct components. Section 3 of the Official Secrets Act, for instance, deals with acts of espionage and where a person helps or assists a foreign government. So Section 3 of the Official Secret Act pertains to acts of spying and espionage, whereas Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act deals with secret documents or deals with communicating secret information to either foreign governments or even locally people who are not authorized to be in possession of that information. So for instance, if you take a document that you're not authorized to deal with, or take a document that you may be authorized to have access to, but if you communicate that document or its contents to the media or anybody else who is not authorized to know the contents of that document, you fall within the ambit of Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act. Well, as far as the cipher is concerned, the cipher and its legal implications, especially with respect to the Official Secrets Act, is something that has been of interest to a lot of people. And as far as the cipher is concerned, I think Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act is pertinent because, as I had said, there are two different and distinct aspects of the Official Secrets Act. Section 3 pertains to espionage, whereas Section 5 pertains to the communication of secret documents. So Section 5 is the section that is critical with respect to the cipher. Now, Section 5 says that if a person has been possessed or if a person possesses or has information about a certain document while he was in government, that person may be charged under Section 5 if that person retains that document even after he is no longer holding that office, or if that person fails to take reasonable care of that document. So as far as the cipher is concerned, there are two allegations. The first allegation is that the previous government knowingly and willingly moved that cipher out of the Prime Minister's office. The other argument that can be raised is that the previous government did not take the cipher out of the Prime Minister's office. Well, as far as the audio leaks and phone tapping is concerned, that too may fall within the ambit of the Official Secrets Act. Now, offices like the Prime Minister's house, the President's house, these may qualify as prohibited areas. And as a result, an argument can be made that a person who has been spying in these areas or a person who has been listening to privileged conversations of these kind has taken information, has gotten access to information that he lawfully could not have accessed. So these acts may also fall within the ambit of both Section 3 of the Official Secrets Act and Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act, because there are two distinct acts which are involved over here. The first act is of spying, because when a person attempts to listen to these conversations, it's an act of espionage or an act of spying. And secondly, the second offense which may be involved is then communicating this information to the mass media. So as a result, anybody who's involved in these acts may be convicted or charged under Sections 3 and Sections 5 of the Official Secrets Act. Having said that, this will only be limited to conversations involving official members. The act is vague and overbroad. So what constitutes an official document has not expressly been defined by the act itself. If you look at Section 5 of the Act, it says that any person who has possession of or control over a password, a sketch, plan, model, article, document, or any information that relates to a prohibited place or relates to anything in such place or which has been entrusted in confidence to him by any person holding a government office or a person who has been employed by the government and no longer has that office but continues to retain that information. So if you look at the structure of the Official Secrets Act and the list of documents which may be prohibited by the Official Secrets Act, it's a very overbroad law. And what documents fall or what documents do not fall within the ambit of the law is extremely ambiguous. Well, the recent issue of audio leaks also falls within the ambit of the Official Secrets Act, because when a person spies into the Prime Minister's office, there are two distinct offenses that are committed. First of all, a person accesses a prohibited area and installs certain recording devices over there with the intention of obtaining certain information. So that is the first offense, and this is punishable by Section 3 of the Official Secrets Act. The second aspect of this is the person who then has access to this information, they leak this information to the mass media. This is covered by Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act. So there are two distinct offenses which are conducted or committed with these audio leaks. I think it's also important to remember that a previous government in our history, Benazir Bhutto's second government, when it was ousted from office, the Supreme Court also, while validating its ouster, also observed that the Bhutto government had conducted wiretapping and it had violated the privacy of its opponents. The first laws pertaining to official secrets in the Indian subcontinent was enacted in 1889 because the Indian press at that time was exposing or highlighting the misgovernance of the colonial government and the manner in which the colonial government at that time was exploiting Indian resources. So we see that in 1889, the Indian Official Secrets Act was passed by the colonial government, and later in 1904, that law was amended during Lord Curzon's regime, and that law was actually made even more stringent in 1904. In 1923, however, the current Official Secrets Act was promulgated by the government, and after Pakistan's independence in 1947, we also adopted the same law. Well, as far as a trial under the Official Secrets Act is concerned, a trial may be governed by Section 13 of the Act, which states that a trial for the acts involved and included under the Official Secrets Act is to be conducted by a magistrate of the first class. Moreover, the law also states that given the nature of the offences under the Act, the public may be excluded from participating in or viewing the proceedings under this Act. Having said that, the government has created a committee to determine whether or not the acts pertaining to the cipher can trigger the Official Secrets Act. So I think we should await the findings of the committee and see whether the committee is of the opinion that the previous government and its members should be tried with offences under Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act. And only then will we be able to talk about the manner in which this trial may be conducted with some certainty. I had stated earlier, there are distinct crimes under the Official Secrets Act. So for instance, if you knowingly go into a prohibited area, you may be convicted for 14 years. Similarly, there are certain acts under the law where the punishment is for 3 years. And then there are certain acts within the Official Secrets Act. There are certain actions that you may conduct within the Official Secrets Act where the punishment is only 3 years. So for example, Section 3 of the Act talks about 3 years. There are other provisions which talk about 14 years. And there are distinct actions that are punishable by the Official Secrets Act. There's not just any one act that the Act criminalizes. So as a result, based on what you've been charged with and what you've been convicted for, the punishment or the sentence basically varies in accordance with that.